I am starting to run very low on rockets, which is not good for a FoxyNoTail because FoxyNoTails like to do lots of flying. So I need to craft some more. However, there's, well, pretty much more wool blocks in my bone box than I have bones, and in my food box, I have absolutely no sugarcane at all, which means I can't craft any, which is a problem. Now, in a recent live stream, I did create a rather large sugarcane farm. However, it's not been ever so successful. In fact, none of these pieces of sugarcane have even grown once, which is also a problem. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure this place isn't going to give me any gunpowder either. So what would give me both bones to grow the sugarcane and plenty of gunpowder? Well, a big old mob farm, of course. So, coming back to Truly Bedrock Season 4, I had an absolutely gargantuan mob farm, and it worked incredibly well. In fact, it worked a little bit too well. You see, I only actually had to AFK at this thing for a handful of times before the end of the season, and all of my chests were pretty much full to the brim for the entire season, which was amazing, but maybe I don't need something quite this big. And the other problem with this farm is you often get the little baby zombies standing on the magma blocks that are riding other zombies, and they get stuck in your hoppers and they don't die. And obviously sometimes the minecarts can stop because they're morons. So back on our current season, if I fly over in this direction, we have a village. And this village has been designated my industrial village. So this village is going to get converted to basically house all of my farms and all of my industrial things, which means realistically I need my mob farm here, which could be a problem. You see, if I end up putting my mob farm high up there in the sky, then all of this is going to be in perpetual darkness and the villagers are not going to be very happy with me. So, what I'm thinking is, what if I, instead of building an absolutely ginormous mob farm, which creates, well, basically way more resources than I could personally ever need, what if I built a mob farm inside of this skyscraper? But that's not a skyscraper, FoxyNoTail. It isn't yet. But it is now. Oh, no, it's still not a... no, it will be in the future. So I'm thinking I build this up nice and tall, put a mob farm at the top of it, and then just have it all indoors. What could possibly go wrong? Coming back over to Season 4, I want to explain why this farm works so well, and that is because it is a dual density farm, or a split density farm. It has cave cap spawning levels, which means that the mobs spawn with blocks above their head, and because of this water area on top with glass at the bottom, it also has surface spawns, which means you're getting all of the mobs from all of the density caps, which means it's absolutely maxing out its rates, which means it's very, very fast, and there are always many, many mobs falling down it. And the way that it works is it has trapdoors on the inside because the mobs think those are pathable blocks, and they just out of their free will, walk off the edge, as this creeper's going to demonstrate now. There you go. Off he goes, down through the hole, and then splat at the bottom. Nice. So if we're building a skyscraper, how are we going to have glass and water at the top? Well, of course, the top of this skyscraper is going to have a swimming pool. So hang tight, keep watching, and hit that like button. And don't forget to subscribe for more FoxyNoTail content, because this is going to be one journey that you don't want to miss out on. I do, actually. No, you don't. No, you don't. Just hit that like button, will you? Right, geez. I guess I've got to tear this thing down first and then decide what blocks I'm going to be using to make it very, very big. Sounds like time for a live stream. And behold, now that the live stream is over, we have a skyscraper. And it's a very, very, very tall skyscraper. In fact, it goes all the way up there. Now, it's not 100% finished. I have done a little bit off-camera work since the live stream because it took absolutely forever to get all of this deep slate and basalt and frog lights as well. But yeah, we now have it tall enough that we can have a mob farm in here without interfering with any of the things below, have our AFK spot in here, have our swimming pool at the top, and it's not the prettiest thing in the world because it's made of deep slate and basalt. And the reason it's made of those is because that's pretty much all I have available at this particular moment in time. So in terms of finishing this off, I need to do things with the windows, I need some glass, I need to do window frames, and just sort of tidy this whole... No, wandering trader, go! Shoo! How dare you be here? I need your head, bud, please. Yeah, I need to do a lot more external work to make it a little bit prettier during a live stream. I'm not going to worry about that now, though, because I want to get this actual mob farm done. And as you can see at the very, very top, just about, let's fly back up again, I've written mob. I was hopeful. I wanted to write mobs, but it didn't fit. And I just realized it's a bit off center. So I'm going to sort this out a little bit. And then, yeah, then I'll get building. Oh, jeez. I'm stuck in a state. Oh, jeez. Oh, not the easiest thing to build up to this. Don't worry, guys. I got this. How hard could it be? Ow. And there we go. That's a little bit more central now, but just because it says mob on it does not make this a mob farm. So it's time to get cracking, starting with the swimming pool, which means I'm going to need a lot of glass, and I don't have all that much glass. Fortunately, though, I do have a reasonable amount of sand, so I need to get smelting it. And what do we have here? Some coal. Oh, wrong pickaxe, jeez. And what do we have here? Some coal. How handy. This will be very helpful in me smelting my glass away. Thank you very much. I don't mind if I do. I'll take it. Freebies. So while all of this lovely glass is smelting away, I need to actually start planning this thing out. And it shouldn't be, oh geez, too difficult. The water needs to be 4 blocks deep in order to have the right light level for the mobs underneath. And I've missed a corner on here. Jeez, well, let's not worry about that. Yeah, 4 blocks deep water with glass at the bottom, and then the spawning platforms start below that. So our first bit of water, geez, I'm not going to be able to get down to it, am I? 1, 2, 3, 4. Our glass layer is going to go here, like this. How hard could it be? Now, it might seem odd going to the effort of putting glass on here and then putting water on top of it to make it dark enough for mobs to spawn below it when tinted glass exists. Now, I am going to be using tinted glass should I actually find a geode somewhere, because I'm going to need to fill in all of these windows because we don't want light coming through those. However, I don't know if tinted glass actually classes as a see-through block, as in will surface mobs actually spawn below it. I don't know, so I'm going to do it the way I do know, which is to use many, many glass with many, many water. Speaking of many, many, my Elytra doesn't have many, many durability left because I've got no unbreaking on it anymore, because I died and lost the last one in lava, which is not ideal. So I need unbreaking, I need tinted glass, I need more glass, and I need some water. And yes, don't worry, I do realise we got frog lights on the inside of this thing going all the way up, and yes, that will also stop mobs from spawning. However, I'm going to put the platforms where the frog lights are to make sure that there's no light coming through those. But we're still going to need an absolute ton of tinted glass, which means I'm going to need an absolute ton of amethysts. So I suppose I should probably pack up my things, go on a little bit of an adventure to get all of those things, and then come back to this when I'm actually equipped to deal with it. Oh, geez. Either that, or I could get all of the foundational work in for now and then worry about the tinted glass later, which does seem like a nice, easy thing to do. 4 pieces left. Really? Come on, game, you meanie. Right, let's go get some water. Where are you going to get water from? I don't know, actually. I was just thinking that myself. I've no idea where I could get water. I know where I can get it from. I know where I can get water from. I'll get it from these farmers here. It's a good idea, isn't it? Steal a bit from these guys. They don't need it. And there we go. With all of the glass now in, I can start filling this thing up with dirt. Dirt, FoxyNoTail? I thought you were talking about putting water in. Yes, I am, but I need to do a layer of, well, something temporary just to put all the water on top on so it all flows together nicely, and then I can break all of this and the water will just flow down onto the glass, which will be perfect. And that's all of the grass put in, so now I'm going to put in all the water, and yes, I could have done this with 2 buckets, but I decided to bring lots of buckets because, well, I'm a bit thick. And lovely, it is all joined together nicely. And now all my grass is turning to dirt, so I better smash it all to bits very quickly. Underwater spleef, anyone? Now, of course, the water underneath is flowing downwards, which means the items aren't going to flow to the top. But that's not necessarily a big problem for the mob farm. I don't think it matters at all whether it's water sources or not. The idea here is just to create a level of darkness underneath, but still keeping the surface cap so more mobs will spawn. How hard could it be? It's science, guys. There we go. Now I just pick up all of my dirt that I've dropped. And there we go. We are now 1 step closer to this mob farm being complete. You're underwater. I know, but you can't tell because I got my underwater fog pack on and it looks rather smashing, doesn't it? It don't look much difference to me. Oh, shut up. Wow. And it already is significantly darker in the middle of this room now. So much so that I think it might be a good idea to pop down a couple of lights just to prevent anything spawning in here, because that would be a problem. There we go. Okay, so next on the list is the spawning platforms, which means I need a block that I've got a lot of in high quantities in order to place many, many spawning platforms. However, I need to fix my Elytra, and I don't have all that many blocks left over here. I've got a lot of frog lights, but I can't make it out of those. My basalt's just about run out. I'm running low on stone. I don't want to waste my deep slate. I could do it out of diorite, but that'd be gross, and I don't want to waste my andesite. So I'm going to go home, fix my Elytra, and bring back some different blocks. And thanks to my villagers, everything is now all nice and repaired, which is fantastic. And I have also got a load more stone that I just happen to have kicking about because that's what I'm going to be building this thing out of. And now I'm wondering, do buttons work anymore? Because they stopped them working, and then they stopped coral fans working. But did they revert buttons and coral fans, or just coral fans? I don't know what you're talking about, Foxy. Well, don't worry, I shall explain. Via the medium of dance. No, maybe not. Okay, I'll explain by going into a creative world and explaining. Okay, so nighttime in my test world with night vision on. We have 4 villagers on these blocks here. And 3 of them have already demonstrated my point. And apparently buttons work. That wasn't what I was Okay. Let's remove... Jeez. Let's remove those things. The villagers should stand on there like that, okay? And not go anywhere because there's nothing to path from. And then on this side, I was going to have zombies that want to get to the villagers. Now, this one fell off because there's buttons there, which is probably a good sign, but they really shouldn't have wandered off the buttons just yet, considering there's no buttons on the other side. That was weird. But yes, the zombie thinks he can path across buttons. So if I put that there, that zombie now thinks he can go across there. So buttons work again. This is great news because that means I don't have to spend my entire life trying to get coral fans, which also work. And obviously, trapdoors are very expensive, but they work too. So I can use buttons. This is fantastic news. Here you go, zombie. Have yourself a nice tasty villager. Test worlds. It all went so smoothly. Now, with buttons working so successfully in my test world, this is an excellent sign. However, it does cause us a little bit of a problem, because if we're making our spawning platforms out of stone like this, and then we're adding on stone buttons, because we've got lots of stone like this, the problem is I can't see the stone buttons, which means when I'm building this thing and I'm doing repetitive tasks and I'm missing bits out, it'd be very difficult for me to go back later on and realize which bits I've missed. So we don't want to use stone with stone buttons because that would be stupid. So we need different types of buttons. And I'm thinking, can we turn this into buttons? We cannot, but we can turn this into buttons. Then I'm going to be able to see exactly where the buttons are and hopefully not make any mistakes. It's a bit of a waste of blackstone, isn't it just? Yes, total waste of blackstone, but it will be very helpful for us in the long run because otherwise I'll make lots of mistakes and then it won't be very good at spawning mobs. Yeah, we get it. Move on. Next clip. All right, jeez. Wow. So, hopping back over to Truly Bedrock Season 4 again to look at this design, there are a couple of design thoughts that I need to consider. See, the most popular way of doing this farm is with a 2x2 hole. However, in my experience, that means that spiders will tend to sort of traverse around them rather than falling down. Whereas if you do a 3x3 hole, there is significantly less spawnable spaces for mobs to spawn on, but they do generally end up falling down the holes, as I'm sure this spider will hopefully demonstrate in a moment. Any minute now. Go on, spider. Go down that hole. Any minute. There we go. The spider is wandering. Oh, jeez. Everything else is falling down the holes, just not the spider. There we go. He went down the hole. As you can see, 3x3 works perfectly, and with all of these platforms, you do get an awful lot of mobs actually spawning on it, which means it's pretty good. However, as you can see, this one is substantially larger than the one I have on Truly Bedrock Season 5. So I really do need to take these things into consideration. And back on Truly Bedrock Season 5, the other thing I need to take into consideration is the fact that spiders can climb up walls. So if I've got my little platforms like this, but obviously higher up, then chances are the spider's going to go, oh, I'm just going to sort of hang about on this wall here, which wouldn't be very good. The alternative would be, instead of building these all the way up to the walls, I could just do straight lines like this with buttons on either side, which would still give us a reasonable amount of spawning space, and the mobs would still wander down between them and the spiders would fall off, and I could have them 2 blocks apart, but it should hopefully mean that the spiders can't reach the walls to climb up. So I might try that. However, that then does leave us quite a large frog light problem, because the frog lights are going to emit light, and unless I've got blocks around the entire of the outside like this, making our internal area even smaller. However, if I was to actually move the frog lights 1 block further out, like I'm doing on this side here, they will still be within the sort of the build thing that we've got going on, because we've made all of this stick out. And that way we can put stone against them on the Oh, I can't get back in now. And that way we can put stone behind them on the inside like this, blocking the light that they shine through, which means that this entire thing will then be nice and dark on the inside. Well, I have been putting in many layers, albeit without buttons for now, and I'm not 100% sure how many layers I need to do, which means I need to get my markers pack, resource pack out, which means I need an armor stand and a banner. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to go right up to the very, very top floor. If we can, almost. Jeez. So from the very top of this thing, if we put our little man in the center there, give him a banner, and then click on him once, that's going to give us the spawn sphere for a mob spawning at the very top and the very center of this. So we know from that where our AFK spot roughly needs to be, and that is basically at the bottom of the red outer sphere. So there's two spheres on this thing. There's a green one, which is the inner sphere, and there's the red outer sphere. And we need to be pretty much near the bottom of that to ensure that mobs will spawn at that very top layer. So our AFK spot is going to be basically down here, at around about this level-ish. And then above this, the bottom green layer is basically going to be where our bottom layer of platforms is going to be, so that the mobs are not too close to us. So let's put some blocks down here. Let's go across to the middle, which is pretty much that point there. Go right back up to the... Ah, jeez. No. Somehow get back to the top again. Possibly. Pick up our little man and the banner. So now if we put him there and give him that and click him again, that red circle should just about be at the very top layer. And I haven't got enough rockets to get back up there, I don't think. Let's see. See if I can... No. Or maybe, possibly. No, I'm just going to fall. Ah! Let's get some more rockets. Excuse me a moment. There we go. Okay. Nope. Flying work. Why? Why can't I fly today? Okay, so back at the top layer, you can see here that our red spawn sphere still covers the entire thing, which is absolutely fantastic. That means mobs will spawn in this area. And that gives us layers all the way down to pretty much here. I think this is like the last layer we can do. Mobs are not going to spawn in this green bit here because it's too close to our AFK spot. We were to drop this down a couple of blocks. We'll do it one at a time. We'll put our little man there instead. Oh, we've already got a spider in there. Fly back to the top. And yes, the top of this platform is still... completely broken. And very, very spawnable, apparently. Oh, jeez. Got a hole in my wall now. Oh, no, all the water's falling. Oh, jeez, this is a nightmare. Skeleton, no, don't do it. Right, let's fill this back. Oh, jeez. No, I don't want to die, thank you. No death today. Let's just stop the water as quickly as possible. Oh, jeez. Now, I need to go back in there to the top layer, which is a dangerous thing to do now that we've got all of these things running about in here. And yeah, I think we can go down one more block and still get mobs spawning at the top here, although I am a little bit dubious about doing that. Oh, no, we don't need to. It's all good. That AFK spot where it is absolutely perfect. So this will be our bottom layer. That will be our top layer. And then underneath this thing, we've got all the way to the bottom of this red layer here where mobs will... That's the despawn point. So when they fall, that's where they'll get to when they despawn. So we've got a whole bunch of room below to actually put in things like trident killers and water flush systems. Basically, we got plenty of room. This is all good. And now plenty of water. What an absolute nightmare. Stupid creepers. At least my mob farm works. Proof that it works perfectly. We haven't even got butters in it yet, and we've already had creepers going off. This is good news. Okay, I am on my last row of placing buttons. All of the other layers have buttons on now, which means that this mob farm, well, the spawning part at least, is almost complete. Oh, jeez. Almost complete. And aside from those couple of mobs that we did have spawning at the top, we're not getting that many spawning now because these layers are all surrounded by windows, and of course it's daytime, which means it's nice and light. And I put a couple of frog lights higher up just to stop them from being spawnable. And there we go. That's the last button in place. All of these rows have buttons on now. I'm going to leave these walkways I've got around the side because I'm going to need to come back around here to put the tinted glass in the windows when I actually get that. But that's it. That is the spawn area completely done. So now what I need to do is go down to our AFK area and work out where I'm going to be putting in the water streams and where we're going to have our trident killer. Because, of course, I can't have it coming straight down here on top of my head. That wouldn't be a good idea. So we're going to build it a little bit higher up and probably have storage around this layer, to be honest with you. So I guess I'm going to need a new platform up there. And I would really like that to be made of glass so that I can see through it, which means I'm going to need to smelt even more glass. And I really should start considering where I'm going to start getting some of the amethyst shards from to make the tinted glass. And of course, the easiest way to find a geode to get your amethyst is to use a world download or open up a new world with the same seed in creative like I've done here and use spectator mode. So this is where my skyscraper is, and if I go underground, oh geez, with a little bit of night vision, I should be able to find a geode pretty easily, and I've already found one over there. Now, would it be a good idea for me to find geodes in this location near where I'm building? And that probably is, because that's probably going to be close enough to be loaded, potentially. Or would I be better off going over towards my base here? Oh my goodness, there's a bunch of clusters here. We could load all three of these at the same time and get loads of amethyst. Yeah, I was going to say, would it be better for me to go over towards my base area? Speaking of my base area, there's a spawner right near the surface with skeletons in, which could be very useful. Oh, we need to write that down. Thank that very much. Yes, as I was saying, should I head towards back to where my main base is going to be and then find some geodes under here instead and dig down to those? See, that would make a lot of sense because I need to do digging to get more deep slate, and, you know, I might as well dig under my base where my base area is. And we do have a few around. However, I don't think any are going to be as convenient as those three that we just saw over here in a line. And what we could do is set up a little mining camp specifically for those three that we just found in a line over here, in this direction-ish, wherever it happened to be. And they're right between these two villages. So yeah, we could set up a little mining system here, or a mining villagey type thing, and create access to these three geodes. Okay, so back on the server with my shovel in hand, our first geode should be just about round here. In fact, it's this spot right here. So I guess if I just dig out a little bit, so I'm not digging straight down, and then I guess, I don't know, dig straight down, what could go wrong? Now, it's a reasonable distance underground, but it's not miles. Unfortunately, a lot of it's sandstone. And here it is, we have found the outer shell. Now, what I want to make sure I do is not dig through any of the budding stuff, because that would be a nightmare. We don't want to do that. Oh, and look at that, straight in. We have geode number 1. Now, I don't think I've ever cleared out an amethyst geode without accidentally smashing one of the those ones. So I'm going to try really hard today to make sure I don't do that. And this is this first one just about mined out, and I have been very careful. I haven't smashed any of the budding amethysts, which is good news. And there isn't that many actual budding amethysts in this one, so I'm hoping that the other ones have a bit more luck. Now, the next one is pretty much in a direct line in that direction and up a little bit, but only slightly. There it is. How close is that? It is literally right here. Okay, we're going to dig out. Oh, I want to do it from the top. It's much easier to dig these things out from the top and work your way down than it is to try and do it from the bottom upwards, as I've just discovered. And here we go. I have found the top. Well, digging has had to stop because my elytra are just about dead and I don't want them to fall completely to bits. So I've got an idea. And the idea is pretty simple. You see, these villagers have a secret weapon. And that is that for a small number of emeralds, I can buy a reasonable quantity of bottles of enchanting. Now, I only have 3 villagers that sell these at this particular moment in time, but if I start generating some sort of stock of this, not only while I'm trading with them do my elytra get fixed to actually get the bottles, but I can set up an XP shower later on and get all nice and fixed. But look, my elytra is nearly mended, just trading those things. Well, this is wonderful. There we go. That is the second geode all mined out. And I've only actually got 1 piece of amethyst from this, which is not ideal, but it'll grow in time, I guess. Okay, so the last geode then is down in this direction. Again, pretty much in a straight line. Let's see if we can find it. And here it is. I have discovered it. Now just to get inside, get all of that tasty goodness. Well, I can see a skeleton and a slime down there, which is not ideal. But hopefully it'll be all right. What could go wrong? Well, that's the skeleton dealt with. Hello, lots of slimes. Ow. And now that's pretty much all of the slimes dealt with. There we go. Wow, that was a lot of slime balls. Jeez. Okay. It looks like this one's got a whole bunch of clusters in it as well, which is very handy. And I've dug this one out as well, but not quite to the same level, just so that I can get all of those tasty, tasty calcite blocks, a bunch of the basalt, and open up all of the cluster thingy-mabobs. And considering I just cleared out 3 clusters, I got a reasonable amount of materials. I got a bunch of calcite, a whole bunch of smooth basalt, a reasonable amount of amethyst, but I only actually got 5 clusters, which is not ideal. And my glass hasn't even been smelted yet. Jeez. Because I've been out of the area, I guess. Right, I need to get Chuck on AFK over at those clusters, getting those clusters growing nice and quickly. And I need to figure out how to turn it actually into tinted glass. Because, you see, tinted glass requires the shards. And I've been gathering the clusters, which is not ideal. What I need to do is use a fortune pickaxe instead. How many clusters am I going to get? Oh, many, many, many. Oh, wow. Shards. Yes, how many shards? 36 shards. That's not bad. However, it is 4 shards per piece of glass, which means from all of that, I managed to make 18 pieces of tinted glass. And I got a lot of windows to fill in. Oh, geez. So while I've been waiting for all of those clusters to grow, I have been busy over here putting in this glass floor, which is going to be the water area that catches our mobs. There's a hole in the middle. I don't know where the water's going to run to. We might have to tweak this design as we start putting water in. And obviously this goes straight down above our AFK spot, and there's going to be a trident killer underneath it. I have also, the whole way down now, moved the frog lights to the outside wall rather than the inside wall, which makes the entire design look better from the outside. Ouch, jeez. Outside, Outside, I think, he says, trying to fly through one of the windows. So there we go. We still haven't got any decoration around the windows or anything like that. I'm thinking to use maybe quartz for that, sort of some trims around the windows. But I think this looks a whole lot better than it did when we started. So yeah, I'm just desperate for these amethyst shards now, which Chuck should be making all nice and growy for us. Nice and growy? Yes, nice and growy. Oh, there's a few. Okay, we can get like 5 pieces of tinted glass by the time I mined all of these, I guess. So in all that time, I managed to get myself another 32 clusters, which after doing many, many smashings, equates to 4 and a bit stacks of shards, which isn't bad because that's like 1 stack of tinted glass. So it could be worse. Jeez, it's slow getting amethyst. And if I add that to my previously created tinted glass, I've now got almost 3 stacks, which should get us quite a long way in filling in these windows. Yeah, 1 stack doesn't even do the whole side, so yeah, it's not going to get as many windows at all. You know, I don't think this is dark enough up here for mobs to spawn. Perhaps it's only going to spawn mobs at this layer at night time, but below that, I think this is definitely dark enough, so fingers crossed this thing should work okay. Well, I've got some good news. It's working, even though I haven't put in all of the glass yet. It's fully dark up there and I'm getting zombies falling down, which now I think about it is a bit of a problem. So ideally then, if we go up to our AFK spot and actually land on... Oh, geez. And actually we're able to land on it, which I can't. Things should start spawning up there and falling down. Potentially. Possibly. Maybe. Results are inconclusive at this point. Oh, we got a creeper. Oh, we got a bunch of creepers. Okay, so I've gone up a little bit and now a lot of things are starting to spawn. So I'm going to block that hole up there. I can see another one up there hanging off the edge. And there we go. They fell down. Good news. It's working. Bad news. I need to get in there and put water in to flush them all to the middle. And it's full of mobs. I just don't think things through, do I? I just don't think things through. And I can't get through the windows upstairs anymore because I blocked them all in. I can't cut a hole through the ceiling up here because it's full of water. It's almost like I haven't thought this through entirely. Oh, geez. Okay, in order to deal with this, what I'm going to do is smash through the walls to start with. And I'm just going to make a line up here, all the way up there, like that. There we go. And I'm going to pile up to the top. Try and get to the top row, if I can. Oh, Jesus. Higher up than I thought it was. Get on there and start placing down many, many, many of these on each row. Okay, with all of those frog lights in there, that should stop everything spawning in there. We just need to go in there and get rid of those zombies that are now persistent because they picked up the witch's guts. fly away and get rid of everything else. And then we should be good to go. Hello, zombies. Give me that redstone, you. Oh, look at all of these mob drops we've got already. This is incredible. In terms of this water streams, completely unplanned, but that couldn't have worked out more perfectly, although it does bring everything to a one wide hole, and of course for a trident killer we really need things to go down a two wide hole. So I'll have to do a little bit of jiggery pokery with some, I don't know, signs or something to stop the water. Oh, we can use fence gates. Fence gates is a good idea. Make some fence gates. But what's particularly frustrating now, but only for me, it's nothing to do with the design, is the fact that all of this is now... Well, I've done all of this building an odd width apart, so it's all nice and symmetrical, but a 2x2 hole in the middle of it is going to be off-center, which makes my skin crawl a little bit, but it's fine. We'll put up with it. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. It's not going to affect anything at the end of the day. It's just a little bit frustrating, really. You're frustrating? Oh, no. Tell me about it. My mum says exactly the same thing. Now, we want to go a few blocks down for the trident killer, so that things can fall down, and without jumping, they're not going to block anything else from falling down. So I'm going to go 3 blocks down on each side and then run out of glass. Excellent. And because I'm so ridiculously rich, I'm going to build the floor of our trident killer out of this very, very expensive deep slate tile. Oh, how lovely. Now I need to smash all of this glass away again so I can actually build the trident killer. You don't really think things through, do you? And we're just going to go for the good old-fashioned, very, very basic trident killer on this one. I'm not going to do anything fancy. I'm not going to do ones to hide the light or collect the XP or anything like that. It is just going to be a very, very basic trident killer. Just like that. Lovely. And, of course, we need a lever on the side of it, and we need to put our glass back in, and we need a little hole so we can get out. Lever on there. Check it's going to work. It's working perfectly. It does need a trident in there. And no, I'm not going to bother using impaling trident. I don't think we'll need the speed for that. It'll be absolutely fine, just mincing things up as it goes. I'm going to pop a glass pane in there so the XP can actually fall down to me. And then I'm going to put in the hopper minecart. So I'm going to have a hopper there. On top of the hopper is the rail. On top of the rail is the hopper minecart. And our trident killer is now 100% complete. We just need some storage. We just happen to have a reasonable amount of room down here for some storage now. Now, I'm not going to put in an automated storage system in this video. I might put one in at a later date. For now, I'm just going to zigzag the storage down like this. And that should give us plenty to get going on with. There we go. We're now ready. Now all we need in there is the trident. Chuck the trident in there. And now I got to go all the way back up there again and get rid of all of those frog lights. Oh, geez. Let's turn the trident killer on. Grab ourselves a looting 3 sword. Come back up here to smash even more holes into this thing. And then just sit back and watch as the money starts rolling in. Here we go. We're in the optimal position now. We should start seeing some mobs falling down here, which would be absolutely lovely. Going into our water streams and then going into our trident killer. I am still slightly... I was going to say this isn't going to work during the daytime I was concerned about, but I can see through the water there are spiders up there, and I can see things in there getting minced. I should hold my looting sword. I am getting the XP as well, which is fantastic. There we go. There are creepers and spiders about to fall in and get absolutely obliterated. There is a spider in there that doesn't seem to be getting obliterated, but it will eventually, possibly. Get obliterated, spider, please. We have zombies in there. There are skeletons in there. The spider has somehow sneaked out of the glass. This is not good. And there are a lot of spiders struggling to get down the hole, which is equally not good. There we go. They will go down eventually. They'll all get pushed about and fall in. Although we might need a slightly slower trident killer to deal with the spiders, because I think they're going to end up getting stuck and caught up on this one. Yeah. But that is probably a problem for another day. Now, just to recap, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I don't want the fastest mob farm in the world that is the best mob farmer in the world, because we had one of those last season and I got more than I needed too fast. So this one is intended to be run relatively regularly when we need things, and I just need to do something about these spiders. Jeez, how am I going to deal with that? Anyway, see you in the next one.